In the last episode of How to Improve Your Shot Accuracy in Soccer, we went over how keeping your composure is one of the most important components when it comes to shooting goals and putting your shot on target. Well, now that you know you need to keep your composure and you've been working on your composure, we need to know how to actually put the ball in the back of the net. So in this episode, we're going to be going over how and why you need to be aiming for the panels of the goals if you want to be scoring more. Okay, so like we mentioned in the last video on composure, what you want to be doing when you're finishing is keeping your calm and relaxing in goal scoring opportunities. Now, panel shots or aiming for the sides of the net should be something that you should always consider. In fact, it should be your go-to with most chances you have. And there's a few good reasons for this. Number one, consciously aiming for the panels of the net gives you a target to hit instead of just blasting it. One of the reasons players panic when they get in goal scoring opportunities is because they don't have a game plan. They don't know what to do. They don't think to hit the panels. They just think, oh no, I have a chance. I better make sure I get a shot on target, or I better make sure I get a shot off. And they don't think about hitting the panels. But if you keep this idea in mind and you get good at this, you can always think, okay, I just need to hit the panel or the side of the net in this opportunity. Of course, each opportunity presents its own problem and presents its own solution, and sometimes you won't want to go for the panels. But more times than not, just sliding the ball solidly into the corner is going to cause you to score a goal. So that's the first good thing about hitting panels, is it gives you a target to aim for. You're not blindly going up and shooting now. You're not going up without a game plan. You actually have an idea of what you want to do, and you have a target to hit. Number two is if you can hit it hard and low or pretty solidly into the corners and into the panels, it keeps it out of the reach from keepers. Keepers hate this. They hate when the ball is low, and they hate when it's towards a corner because it's much harder for them to get to it, and even if they get to it, there's more likely a chance that there'll be a rebound, which a keeper does not want. So if you can do this, you will keep it out of the reach from keeper, which will allow you to score more goals. The third great thing about this is you don't need to blast the ball. It's harder to control the ball you're trying to hit as hard as you can. Now, you can get pretty good at this, but get really good at just being able to pass the ball into the corners. Think about it this way. If you had a teammate 18 yards away and you want to hit a really solid ball into his feet, you could do it, right? Well, just apply that to this. If you find yourself in a goal-scoring opportunity, just hit the ball as you would pass it solidly to a teammate into the panel. If you do that, you're going to score a ton of chances. Now, you can also go near post. I'm not saying you have to put it directly in the panel, because obviously if you go near post, you won't. But put it as close to the corner as you can. And if you can do this, you're going to score a lot of goals. Because like I said, even at the professional level, keepers struggle to keep out shots that are hit hard and low towards the corners. So if you can learn not only to recognize that this is something you should be doing, but also learn to do this consistently and practice this consistently, which we'll go over, you're going to score a ton more goals, and this is obviously going to put a lot more accuracy in your shot. Just remember, keep your composure, and you don't need to blast it, and aim for your target. Okay, so now you know the reasons you should be aiming for the panels and why it's beneficial to you to learn this, but how do you actually learn this? So with this, I'm going to give you not only the physical practice you can do, which is pretty straightforward, you can probably guess what it is, but I'm also going to give you the mindset and the mentality you need, because again, I believe the mental side of the game is so important, especially when it comes to finishing and goal scoring. In the last video, in the composure video, we basically went over this, how you need to relax, keep your nerve, and keep calm in order to become someone who keeps more shots on target and becomes a good finisher. So what is the first thing I want you to be thinking mentally when you go to put the ball in the panel of the net? Now, we went over this with composure, but I want you to always keep in mind, I'm going to score. This is such a powerful thought, because if any doubt creeps into your mind at any moment during the process of shooting or when you're bearing down on goal, if even a little bit of doubt creeps into your mind, it's going to trip you up. Now, you may get away with it and still score, but it's going to be much better if you believe firmly when you go up to put the ball into the panel that you have no doubts. You don't have any thoughts that are thinking, oh, I'm going to miss, I'm not going to do well. The only thought that should be going in your mind at that moment, if any at all, should be, I'm going to score. So that's the first mental thing I want you to keep in mind. The next is I want you just to relax, and we went over this in the composure video. Relax. I'm not saying relax your body, but relax your mind. Stop overthinking the process. If you practice the physical stuff, which we're going to go over in a second, if you do that enough times, you're going to have the instincts and the muscle memory and the ability to do this. So you're not going to have to overthink it. You're just going to have to do it. You're not going to really need to think about it. You just need to relax, keep your calm, keep your composure, and just slot it into the net. That's all you really need to do. You need to just be calm and do it. And if you practice it enough times, this will be a lot easier. So the physical practice really is just practicing hitting the panels over and over and over and over again. Now, what I like to do is I like to just get a bunch of balls and go to the field, and I will attack the goal from different angles. It's important you make this as game-like as possible. So just, you know, kind of putting some balls down and shooting them as they're motionless is not very realistic, because that doesn't really happen in matches. So what I like to do is first I start off by running directly at goal from the left side and placing it into the opposite corner with my right foot, and I'll do that until I get 10 good ones. Notice how I didn't say I do it 10 times. I said I keep going until I have 10 good ones. Until I keep going until I finish it 10 times, and I'm pretty sure that those 10 finishes would score against the keeper. Then I do the same with my left foot on the other side. Then I mix it up a little bit. Then I do a skill move and then finish. So this way I'll start from the left side again, and I'll do a skill move and finish. Now I might use my right and left for each side now. But you can see what I'm getting at. You need to replicate the situations you would be in matches, and then just remember to put it into a panel. So I will have some examples, as you'll see, come across right now. But just really keep this in mind, because I feel like a lot of players just go to the field and shoot around aimlessly. Look, the biggest way you're going to get better at any skill is by deliberately training that skill, not just physically but mentally. Meaning you can't just aimlessly and mindlessly do this practice. You have to be analyzing yourself as you're doing it. You have to be like, how can I recreate a game situation here? How can I recreate something that would actually happen? How can I run towards the goal in a way that would make it more game-like, right? So when you're doing this, you need to do it at game speed. That's important, because that's what you're going to become used to. And then if you miss a shot, analyze it. Ask yourself what went wrong. If you take a good shot, same thing, what went right? And that's going to be very important if you want to get better at this or any other skill, because you need to be analyzing what you're doing well and what you're not doing well. Because how are you supposed to know what to work on if you're not aware of when you're making mistakes, or you're not taking a moment to reflect? And how are you going to keep doing the good things over and over again if you're not taking a moment to figure out how you did it? Okay, so those are the main things to keep in mind when practicing this. Okay, everyone, I hope you've learned something today. I really consider aiming for the panels of the goal one of the most effective ways to keep the ball on target when you're shooting and to score goals. So definitely practice this if you're looking to be more accurate with your shooting and if you're looking to score more goals. As always, make sure you hit that like and share button so we can get this video to as many players as possible. And if you're new to Simply Soccer, hit that subscribe button. We release videos every single day. Make sure you come back tomorrow at 5 p.m. for a brand new training video, and I'll leave 2 videos up on the screen that I think you'll like and that will help you improve your game even further. Once again, guys, thank you so much for watching, and I will see you on the video tomorrow.